Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. The rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks filled the air as the train sped through the countryside. Alvaro gazed out the window, lost in thought, his reflection staring back at him from the glass. He adjusted his position, trying to find comfort in the worn fabric of the seat. His wrinkled white shirt and faded jeans spoke of a long journey, one that had started days ago. Alvaro ran a hand through his disheveled hair, wondering if he should have packed more clothes for this trip. The sound of heels clicking against the floor drew his attention. A woman appeared in the aisle, her presence commanding and elegant. She wore a tailored black blazer over a white blouse, paired with a pencil skirt that accentuated her curves. Her hair was swept up in a sleek bun, and her makeup was impeccable. She paused by Alvaro's seat, a smile playing on her ruby-red lips. "Excuse me," she said, her voice smooth as silk. "I couldn't help but notice your outfit. It's interesting." Alvaro blinked, caught off guard by the unexpected compliment, if it could be called that. He glanced down at his travel-worn clothes and back up at the woman, confusion evident on his face. "Thank you," he replied, uncertainty coloring his tone. The woman's smile widened. "I'm Tiffany," she introduced herself, extending a perfectly manicured hand. "And you are?" "Alvaro," he answered, shaking her hand briefly. Her grip was firm, confident. Tiffany's eyes sparkled with intrigue. "Alvaro, how would you like to try on some new clothes? I have a feeling you'd look fantastic in the right outfit." Alvaro hesitated, his brow furrowing. "I'm not sure. I'm just traveling through. All the more reason to freshen up," Tiffany countered smoothly. "There's a lovely boutique just a few blocks from the next station. We could pop in and you could try on a few things. No pressure to buy, of course." Something in her tone, a mix of warmth and excitement, made Alvaro pause. He'd never been particularly adventurous when it came to fashion, but there was something intriguing about this woman and her offer. "I suppose it couldn't hurt to look," he found himself saying. Tiffany's face lit up. "Wonderful! We'll be at the station in about 10 minutes. Trust me, you won't regret this." As the train pulled into the station, Alvaro felt a mix of nervousness and curiosity bubbling in his chest. He followed Tiffany off the platform and onto the bustling street. The boutique she led him to was nestled between a quaint cafe and a bookstore, its window display showcasing an array of stylish outfits. A bell chimed as they entered the shop. The interior was sleek and modern, with racks of clothes lining the walls and a few mannequins sporting the latest trends. "Marissa!" Tiffany called out. "I've brought someone who needs your expertise." A petite woman with short, spiky hair emerged from the back room. Her eyes lit up when she saw Alvaro. "Oh, darling, we're going to have so much fun with you." Before Alvaro could process what was happening, he found himself ushered into a fitting room, arms laden with clothes Tiffany and Marissa had selected. The first outfit they had him try on was a pair of slim-fit dark wash jeans and a deep blue button-up shirt. "Come out and let us see," Tiffany called. Alvaro stepped out, feeling self-conscious. Tiffany and Marissa circled him, nodding approvingly. "The jeans fit you perfectly," Marissa commented, "and that shade of blue really brings out your eyes." "It's a good start," Tiffany agreed, "but let's try something a bit more daring." The next hour passed in a whirlwind of fabric and zippers. Alvaro tried on more outfits than he could count, everything from casual wear to formal attire. With each new combination, he felt a strange sense of excitement growing within him. Finally, Tiffany handed him a garment bag. "I've saved the best for last," she said with a wink. Alvaro unzipped the bag to reveal a stunning emerald green cocktail dress. His heart skipped a beat as he ran his fingers over the silky material. I can't wear this," he stammered. Tiffany placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Why not? Fashion has no gender, Alvaro." And I have a feeling you'd look absolutely stunning in it." With trembling hands, Alvaro took the dress into the fitting room. As he slipped it on, he was surprised by how natural it felt against his skin. The fabric hugged his body in all the right places, and when he looked in the mirror, he barely recognized himself. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out of the fitting room. Tiffany and Marissa gasped in unison. "Oh, honey," Marissa breathed. "You look incredible." Alvaro turned to look at himself in the full-length mirror. The person staring back at him was a stranger, but a beautiful one. "How do you feel?" Tiffany asked softly. Alvaro swallowed hard. "I feel beautiful," he whispered. Tiffany's smile was radiant. "That's because you are. Now, let's talk about accessories." Over the next few hours, Tiffany guided Alvaro through a transformation he never could have imagined. They visited a wig shop where he selected a long, wavy brunette wig that framed his face perfectly. At a makeup counter, Tiffany taught him the basics of contouring and eye makeup. "The key is to enhance your natural features," she explained as she demonstrated how to apply mascara. "You want to look like yourself, just amplified." As the day wore on, Alvaro found himself becoming more comfortable in his new skin. The stares he initially received on the street slowly transformed into appreciative glances and compliments. "You're a natural," Tiffany praised as they sat down for coffee. "How are you feeling about all of this?" Alvaro, or rather, Kayla, as Tiffany had suggested, took a sip of her latte, careful not to smudge her lipstick. "It's overwhelming," she admitted, "but in a good way. I never knew I could feel like this." Tiffany reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "This is just the beginning, sweetie. There's a whole world out there for you to explore." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, Kayla turned to Tiffany. "Can I ask you something?"
"Of course. Why did you do all this for me? We were strangers on a train this morning, and now—" Kayla gestured to her transformed self. Tiffany's eyes softened. "Let's just say I saw a kindred spirit, someone who needed a little push to discover their true self."
"Are you—" Kayla left the question unfinished, unsure how to phrase it. Tiffany's laugh was musical. "Am I transgender? No, not exactly. But I've walked a similar path. I know what it's like to feel trapped in a skin that doesn't quite fit." Kayla nodded, processing this information.
"What happens now?" "That's entirely up to you, darling. This can be a one-time adventure, or it can be the start of a whole new chapter in your life. There's no right or wrong answer."
As they walked back to the train station, Kayla felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. She had a bag full of new clothes, makeup, and accessories, tangible reminders of the day's transformation. But more than that, she had a newfound sense of possibility. "Will I see you again?" Kayla asked as they stood on the platform. Tiffany's smile was enigmatic. "If you need me, you'll find me. Just remember, Kayla, the most important thing is to be true to yourself, whatever form that takes." As the train pulled into the station, Kayla impulsively hugged Tiffany. "Thank you," she whispered, "for everything." Tiffany hugged her back tightly. "You're welcome, sweetheart. Now go out there and shine." Kayla boarded the train, her heart full of emotions she couldn't quite name. As she settled into her seat, she caught her reflection in the window, a beautiful woman with sparkling eyes and a hesitant smile. The train began to move, carrying her towards an uncertain but exciting future. As the cityscape faded into the distance, Kayla's mind raced with thoughts and possibilities. The day's events played on repeat in her head, each memory bringing a mixture of exhilaration and disbelief. She absent-mindedly touched the soft fabric of her new dress, still marveling at how natural it felt against her skin. The other passengers on the train seemed oblivious to the internal transformation she had undergone. A businessman engrossed in his laptop, a young couple whispering and giggling, an elderly woman knitting. They all went about their routines, unaware of the profound change sitting just a few seats away. Kayla's hand unconsciously went to her hair, fingers threading through the silky strands of the wig. She wondered what her friends and family would think if they could see her now. Would they recognize her? Would they understand? The thought sent a shiver of anxiety through her, but it was quickly replaced by a surge of determination. This was her journey, her discovery. As the train rolled on, Kayla pulled out her phone and opened the camera app. With slightly trembling hands, she angled it to take a selfie. The face that looked back at her from the screen was both familiar and foreign, her own features but enhanced, transformed. She smiled, and the woman in the photo smiled back, confident and radiant. Without overthinking it, she posted the photo to her social media account with a simple caption, "New day, new me. #transformation." Almost immediately, notifications started popping up. Friends expressing surprise, asking questions, offering compliments. Kayla felt a mix of anxiety and excitement as she read through the comments. She decided to let them simmer for a while before responding. This was her moment, and she wanted to savor it. As the journey continued, Kayla's thoughts turned to the future. What would this mean for her life, her career, her relationships? The possibilities seemed endless, and while that was thrilling, it was also somewhat terrifying. She remembered Tiffany's words. "The most important thing is to be true to yourself, whatever form that takes." Kayla took a deep breath, letting the wisdom of those words wash over her. She didn't have to have all the answers right now. This was just the beginning of her journey. The train announcement system crackled to life, announcing the next stop. Kayla realized with a start that it was her destination. As she gathered her belongings, including the bags of new clothes and accessories, she felt a surge of nervous energy. Stepping off the train onto the platform, Kayla stood tall, embracing her new appearance. She caught her reflection in a nearby window and smiled. The woman looking back at her was confident, beautiful, and ready to take on the world. As she made her way through the station, Kayla noticed the glances and double takes from passers-by. But unlike earlier in the day, when such attention had made her nervous, she now found herself reveling in it. She walked with purpose, heels clicking rhythmically on the tiled floor. Outside the station, the city buzzed with nightlife. Neon signs flickered, music spilled out from bars and clubs, and groups of friends laughed as they made their way down the sidewalk. Kayla felt a sudden urge to be part of it all, to experience the night as her new self. On impulse, she hailed a taxi. "Take me to the best cocktail bar in town," she told the driver, her voice steady and sure. The taxi wound its way through the city streets, finally pulling up in front of a sleek, modern building. A sign above the door read, "Starlight Lounge" in elegant script. Kayla paid the driver and stepped out, smoothing her dress and taking a deep breath. As she approached the entrance, the bouncer gave her an appreciative nod and held the door open. The interior of the lounge was dimly lit, with soft jazz playing in the background. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the patrons, who were dressed in elegant evening wear. Kayla made her way to the bar, conscious of the eyes following her progress. She perched on a stool, crossing her legs gracefully, a move she had practiced under Tiffany's guidance earlier that day. The bartender, a dapper man in a vest and bow tie, approached with a smile. "What can I get for you, miss?" The word "miss" sent a thrill through Kayla. "I'll have a cosmopolitan, please," she replied, her voice smooth and confident. As the bartender prepared her drink, a man a few seats down caught Kayla's eye. He was handsome, with salt and pepper hair and kind eyes. He raised his glass in a subtle toast, and Kayla felt herself blushing. The cosmopolitan arrived, its pale pink color matching Kayla's nail polish perfectly. She took a sip, savoring the tangy sweetness. As she set the glass down, she noticed the man had moved closer. "I hope I'm not being too forward," he said, his voice deep and pleasant. "But I couldn't help noticing you when you walked in. I'm Daniel." Kayla's heart raced. This was a moment she hadn't prepared for, but as she looked into Daniel's warm eyes, she felt a surge of confidence. "I'm Kayla," she replied, extending her hand. "It's nice to meet you, Daniel." As they chatted, Kayla found herself relaxing into the conversation. Daniel was charming and witty, and she surprised herself with her own ability to flirt and banter. They talked about their jobs. He was an architect. She decided to stick close to the truth and said she was a writer. Their hobbies, their favorite spots in the city. As the night wore on, Kayla felt a growing sense of comfort in her new identity. She laughed freely, gestured expressively, and even dared to touch Daniel's arm lightly when he said something particularly funny. The initial nervousness had faded, replaced by a feeling of rightness, of finally being herself. Eventually, Daniel glanced at his watch and sighed.
I hate to say it, but I should probably call it a night. Early meeting tomorrow.
Kayla nodded, feeling a mix of disappointment and relief. As exhilarating as the evening had been, she was starting to feel the weight of the day's events.
It was wonderful meeting you, Kayla,
Daniel said, his eyes warm.
Would it be all right if I got your number? I'd love to see you again.
For a moment, Kayla hesitated. What would happen when Daniel found out the truth about her? But then she remembered Tiffany's words about being true to herself. She smiled and recited her number, which Daniel promptly saved in his phone. As they said their goodbyes, Daniel leaned in and placed a soft kiss on Kayla's cheek.
Until next time,
he murmured. Kayla left the bar feeling as though she was floating. The cool night air caressed her skin as she walked down the street, replaying the events of the evening in her mind. She had done it. She had gone out as Kayla, had conversations, even attracted the interest of an attractive man. It all seemed surreal. Back in her hotel room, Kayla carefully removed her makeup and wig, placing them on the dresser. She changed into comfortable pajamas and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her reflection in the mirror. The face looking back at her was the one she had known all her life, Alvaro's face, but now she saw it differently. She saw the potential for Kayla in the curve of her cheekbones, the arch of her eyebrows, the fullness of her lips. As she lay in bed, Kayla's mind whirled with thoughts of the future. Would she continue to explore this side of herself? How would it fit into her everyday life? What would she tell her friends and family? She didn't have all the answers yet, but for the first time in a long time, she felt excited about the journey ahead. Kayla closed her eyes, a smile playing on her lips as she drifted off to sleep, dreaming of possibilities and new beginnings. The next morning, Kayla awoke to the soft glow of sunlight filtering through the curtains. For a moment, she lay still, letting the memories of the previous day wash over her. It hadn't been a dream. The shopping bags filled with feminine clothes and the makeup scattered on the dresser were proof of that. She sat up, stretching languidly, and caught sight of herself in the mirror. Without the wig and makeup, she looked like Alvaro again, but something had changed. There was a sparkle in her eyes, a confidence in her posture that hadn't been there before. Kayla reached for her phone, curious to see if there were any messages from Daniel. Sure enough, there was a text waiting for her. "Good morning, Kayla. I hope you slept well. I can't stop thinking about our conversation last night. Would you like to meet for coffee sometime this week?" A smile spread across Kayla's face as she read the message. She typed out a reply, agreeing to meet him in a few days. As she hit send, a mix of excitement and anxiety bubbled up inside her. How would she explain her situation to Daniel? Would he understand? Pushing those thoughts aside for the moment, Kayla got out of bed and headed to the bathroom. She had a busy day ahead. Her original reason for this trip, a series of meetings with potential clients for her freelance writing business, was still on the agenda. As she showered and got dressed in her usual attire, a simple button-down shirt and slacks, Kayla couldn't help but feel a sense of disconnection. The clothes felt foreign now, constraining in a way they never had before. She paused, looking at the bags of new clothes. On impulse, she pulled out the blue blouse Tiffany had helped her pick out. It was feminine, but not overtly so. She put it on, paired with her usual slacks, and looked in the mirror. The effect was subtle, but significant. A perfect blend of Alvaro and Kayla. Feeling more like herself, Kayla headed out for her meetings. Throughout the day, she found herself standing taller, speaking more confidently. The clients seemed to respond positively to this new energy, and by the end of the day, she had secured 2 new contracts. As she walked back to her hotel, Kayla's phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from an unknown number. "Hello, darling. I hope your adventure is continuing. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. T." Kayla smiled, recognizing Tiffany's trademark wisdom. She typed out a reply. "Thank you for everything, Tiffany. You've opened up a whole new world for me. I'm scared but excited to see where this leads." The response came almost immediately. "Fear and excitement often go hand in hand, sweetie. Embrace both. You're stronger than you know." Encouraged by Tiffany's words, Kayla made a decision. When she got back to the hotel, she carefully applied her makeup and put on the wig. She chose a casual outfit, jeans and a flowing top, and headed out to a nearby cafe. As she sat there, sipping her latte and people-watching, Kayla felt a sense of peace wash over her. For the first time in her life, she felt truly comfortable in her own skin. A group of women at a nearby table caught her attention. They were laughing and chatting animatedly, clearly good friends enjoying each other's company. Kayla felt a pang of longing. She wanted that kind of connection, that sense of belonging. As if sensing her gaze, one of the women looked over and smiled warmly at Kayla. "I love your top," she said. "Where did you get it?" Kayla's heart raced, but she managed to smile back. "Thank you. I got it at a boutique downtown. I'm new in town, so I'm still discovering all the good shopping spots." The woman's face lit up. "Oh, we know all the best places. Would you like to join us? We can give you some recommendations." For a moment, Kayla hesitated, but then she remembered Tiffany's encouragement to embrace new experiences. "I'd love to," she said, picking up her cup and moving to their table. The next hour flew by in a whirl of conversation and laughter. The women, Lisa, Megan, and Rachel, were warm and welcoming, peppering Kayla with questions about her life and sharing stories of their own. As the evening wound down, Lisa turned to Kayla with a smile. "We have a girls' night out planned for this weekend. Would you like to join us?" Kayla felt the rush of emotion, joy at being included, fear of being discovered, excitement at the prospect of further exploring her feminine side. "I'd love to," she heard herself say. As she walked back to her hotel that night, Kayla's mind was abuzz with thoughts and plans. She had a coffee date with Daniel to look forward to, a girls' night out on the horizon, and a new sense of self emerging. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.